October Park Board meeting to order. We all got from Deb a copy of the minutes and the stuff in our emails. Is there any changes or corrections or omissions anybody saw in there? If not, all those in favor of accepting them say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
Pat,
Yeah.
first you have someone make a motion to approve the minutes.
Move to approve.
There you
Second.
go. There you go.
There you go. Okay.
Well, Pam made the
Sure
motion.
does it all the time watching the council meeting.
Pam make the
Next.
motion.
Really? Yeah.
Sorry.
They don't make motions
Not always.
for the minutes?
Yeah. Oh, but that's okay.
Okay, sorry.
It's irrelevant. I don't
You
care.
don't?
Watch.
That was why we paused for a second.
Yeah.
Robert's rules was
Yep. Yep.
clanging in my head.
My bad.
We have no citizens here. Are there any citizen issues that have come up that you want to address or bring up now? Or wait until general comments and that later?
We can do that under project updates.
Okay.
Yeah.
New business, discussion and possible action on the request by St. Croix Sailing School to extend their lease on the city garage.
Yeah, so St. Croix Sailing School reached out to myself again, and they've had an ongoing partnership with the city. Obviously, they run their sailing school on the south side of Lakefront Park, and then the last couple of winters, they've used Buckeye Garage to store some of their dinghies, so on and so forth. So it just makes it easier on them. It's been a good relationship with them and the city. We don't use that facility anymore. All of our operations are there, so this is basically an extension of that lease agreement. It would run from November 1st through April 1st, and they will be charged $100 a month based on the agreement.
That's wonderful. Is there
No issues in the
Any
past
questions
of
or-
any.
No
Some
They're out of
vandals.
there when we need them out of there. And
Yep. Really good to work with, so.
Yeah, I've heard no complaints about the sailing school from anyone. You know, it's just positive things about what a neat thing to have and what a positive thing it is for kids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a great
I
thing.
had a couple of moms tell me they just made their kids come alive and interest in all kinds of stuff that they never would have. Interest in the river, interest in, no.
I would move to approve the lease agreement with St. Croix Sailing School.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion or questions? If not, the chair will call the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Now, conversations I've had with Hugh Gwynn not too long ago, because he's one of the people who works with the sailing school, of them wanting to do some improvements in the garage portion so they can use it as like a rainy day classroom or something like that, or presentations for the kids and educational that way. I suggested to them they just write it up as a more formal request and bring it to us, and that I thought it was a good use now that the city's not in there anymore with it, that could fit them or other groups who may want to. You know, it may be something that we look at as we do our long-range plan now, about talking how that building and area gets used, and maybe how it doesn't get used. We can put an opinion on that too, right? Yeah. So with that, the item number 5 is our new business, is a discussion and possible action on, is our old business, discussion and possible action on approval of the 2021 to 2025 outdoor recreation plan.
Mr. Michael.
Mike has got that. We have everything.
So I guess what I'll start off with is, obviously this is a working document, you know, it's a living document. Just because we approve something tonight doesn't mean we can't add something to it 2 months from now, 3 months from now, so on and so forth. The intent is to, give a physical summary of our park system, include the goals and objectives of the park board over the next 5 years. We included the updated capital improvement plan that was approved a couple months ago. Obviously, like Pat was saying, we can make some additions for the Buckeye Garage. Prior to the meeting, he mentioned something about adding the Lake Malibu area to the plan for a possible future park. and the quarry on the south end of town. As that begins to end its life cycle, I think it's got another 10 to 15 years, but to actually just maybe identify it in the plan, just say maybe here's a possible area to, for development and parks, so on and so forth. The other thing too is as developments come in, obviously Lee property, St. Croix Meadows, which is the old dog track, and the Boucher apartments, those will have to be included as well. And while I'm on that topic, last night, the council did approve the purchase of that 2.5 acres next to the Boucher apartments, just south of the Hudson Meadows development. So that is something that isn't in this outdoor rec plan that will have to be added. And when it does, what the park board's role is now is going to be to develop a master plan for that 2.5 acres for future development. And we want to be all encompassing of what the possibilities are with that land. So that'll be coming forth on a future agenda for your review and input, and that'll be a fun time. That's the fun part of parks is developing new parks for the citizens. So with that being said, obviously, like I said, if you do have any changes or you want to see any additions outside of what Pat had suggested, now is the time. And like I said, if you don't feel comfortable approving it tonight, I can make the additions and corrections and bring it back next month's meeting and get it approved at that time. It's actually pretty nice because the planning commission, which meets after this committee, is discussing the comp plan. So they're kind of in sync with one another. They're kind of along the same timeline. So if we don't get this passed tonight, obviously a month behind the comp plan isn't gonna hurt anything. So I just want to make sure that we get everything right, because it is, like I said, a roadmap for the future.
I think I brought in maybe a year ago or last fall, the planning map that Putman Planning and Design did for us on Prospect Park when we were doing our last plan, and we went so far as to put a baseball diamond, allowing baseball. We packed as much possible things into that so that if something should come available, well, it's in the comp plan to be able to do it and it doesn't prohibit it. That's why I would like to see us look at when you come down the hill going to Little Dam there and out to Big Dam, if the bicycle people are successful at getting the Black Bridge and all of the bike trails going through, that could be a very good trailhead area down there for us to be able to use and with parking or things like that.
What would you call that area, Pat? What would that area be called? Lower Lake Malibu?
Yeah. Or the dam area. That dam area.
Maybe Lower Lake
Yeah.
Malibu.
Yeah, let's go back.
But that, that would just have possibilities into the future of things that could
Yeah.
go there. And it opens it up that if perchance grant money or something like that would become available, well, we can match it up to our plan to be able to do it. So think about things like Buck Malik's group and the Rod and Gun Club have put some fishing piers in. Do we want to, we'll put those kinds of things into it. Maybe it's not a good place I don't think, for another boat launch, but it could be a nice place for canoeists and kayakers and those people, rather than on Highway 35 at the beginning of the bridge there, for those kinds of things.
Yeah.
And then the other area I look at it, and we've years past talked about it in the park board, of the Matthews Quarry site. And, it's questionable whether that's ever going to be buildable, but it's not our worry.
Okay.
But to express an interest in it for parks and what it could be, there's a lot of potential for that, from everything from a giant dog park to baseball, soccer field, what have you, in the big open spaces.
Yeah.
Where's that located, Pat? What do you?
As you're taking Boudry, right? Hanley, excuse me. Hanley up to through the cut in the hillside.
Yeah.
Everything from that road all the way to just behind Double F, where it goes up. It's not Tower there, is it? Yes.
Tower Road.
On
It's
the other
Tower
side-
Road.
On the other
Tower
side of the
Road.
industrial park, is he talking?
Even before you get there.
It'd be
Before you
before you get
Up the
to,
rock
Before you
cut,
yep,
to your first right,
Oh,
it's not it's a driveway, but
Yep.
you don't see anything. It looks like dirt, because then you go down and
because they're done on the south end, they've already pretty much finished up.
So now they access from the north end. They used to access from Tower Road.
okay.
It's gotta be, I bet, 600 acres. Maybe it's almost a square mile.
This is not the same area for the public works that we've been scouting?
No,
This is different.
it's
than-
right next to it though.
Yeah, right next.
Oh, it is right next to it,
It's right
okay.
next to it, yeah.
Okay.
So to
Yeah, I think that makes
put
sense.
that kind of thing
Yeah,
into it, just trying to think of,
as a potential, you're
Yeah.
saying? And then if you were able to get the funds or whatnot.
and we're already, then we're also on notice as wanting it,
yeah.
Yeah,
right? We're not coming in, or Parks isn't coming in saying to some other group, no, you can't do that. We want to
yeah,
do it this way. First in, maybe have a better chance of being able to do it.
yep.
And again, should somehow grants or something like that come up to be available, it's in the plan to take advantage of them.
So in the packet from our last discussion on this, I had our intern before she left for school update a bunch of the pictures. A bunch of the photos are updated, and then Nick O'Brien, our GIS technician, he did maps for each individual park, and it pointed out the amenities that can be found in that park. Which I think is a really neat addition. So, and like Pat was saying, under each description, obviously it has, some history about each park, the existing amenities, and then opportunities that that you foresee in the future for improvements at those parks. So, like I said, if it is a living document and anything can be added at any time. So just keep that in mind.
I think it's really well done, Mike. I like it. The two things, there's one typo I was going to point out, just
Okay.
on page 13, 2F.
Okay.
I almost never see typos, so I was so proud. I never see
That was
them.
in there for you.
And my wife is an English teacher, so she'll get some. What does it say? 2F.
I
It
didn't
says
catch
something.
memorials being in here.
Yeah, resource. Yeah, there's like an extra O or
I
something.
didn't catch our memorial policy being in here. Should it or not?
Pat was asking if we should include the memorial policy in it. I guess I'm open for suggestions on that if you think this is an appropriate document to include something like that in, or keep it separate.
I think it would be helpful because if I'm new to the community, I'm reading this about parks, it gives me the sense, oh, I could make a contribution. So I don't know if you need the entire policy, but I think there should be something like a little square that says, hey, if you want to make a park donation or a memorial donation, contact, City Hall or somebody to talk to about it. I think that's helpful, yeah.
Yeah.
Could
A
we,
blurb, and maybe even a picture of a bench with a tree or whatever our
Right.
products are.
Yeah.
More of an ad than a the whole policy. Yeah, I agree with that.
Do we have other policies in here, though? I mean, do we have other policies pertaining to parks that are kind of along that vein, so to speak? And are we including any of those in this document?
I don't think so. We are not putting any policy in regarding construction, aesthetics, materials, anything like that.
so we have a mooring policy, we have the rental use policy, the memorial policy. Deb, help me out. Are those,
Yeah, that's
That's pretty much it.
mooring policy. I mean,
those are kind of
Like the rental of pavilions or something?
rental, yeah.
rental, mooring would be the mooring agreement.
So those are the other policies that are associated with parks.
I guess my question is the audience just like, for this, would it just be the general public or who are we aiming this at?
General public, it's also utilized a lot for grant writing.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I could probably count, well, I shouldn't say that. The general public probably isn't likely to view this document, right?
Okay,
Right.
It's more for planning purposes for you and common council,
okay.
for budgeting. It's also, like I said, for grant writing mainly.
Would this be something that would be on like our website?
Yeah.
Could somebody access it on our
It's
website?
on
There now,
Yes.
the old one's on there.
Oh, yeah, then I think that, I mean, the public will view it. So I think maybe like the memorial piece and then like the rental pieces or some kind of I think something, that might be helpful too. So if I want to, I guess I could just call City Hall too, but.
Well, there is a park, there's already a park reservations page. There could be.
Oh,
and
if it's separate, yeah, that's.
Yeah, and there's also, I think on the park facilities, you go to park facilities, you can get to the park reservation
Yeah.
page. If you go to the parks page, believe there's all the links.
It's
So
all
you
there,
could put-
okay.
Yeah,
Then I forget.
and the memorial policy's out there in a couple different spots.
Okay.
too, so.
So this is more just your outdoor recreation plan, okay.
So could we just put some policies or other information can be found, or just list that maybe on the table of contents or somewhere
Right.
else in the document? And then if those get adjusted, we don't have to adjust this document?
Yeah.
Very good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's-
Yeah. Then my other comment was just gonna be, I love how this is laid out, and I love the opportunities, and as you get toward the end, I noticed some of the smaller parks, it just says like opportunities, but then there's like nothing behind it. So I just wonder if we should just take out, opportunities, like the Coons Hill Park, for example. Probably not gonna be a whole lot going on, so I think just take any line that's blank where it says opportunities, just take it out is what I'm thinking.
Which page are you on?
That is page 22 of this. Okay. But there's a few other ones like that too.
See, when that was Stewart's pasture, cows kept it munched down. It's like a lawn, like a fairway in a golf course.
They did?
Yeah, it was his pasture. So, for a dairy farm.
Oh,
So the city, there's a ski jump scaffold out there on the hill
yep.
and a rope tow for the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Do you take it out, or do you put none identified?
Well, I would just say, either one,
Just take it
but I
out?
might just take it out because that means we're not really looking for anything, I think.
Okay.
And then so the same thing I think on, Meadows Park on page, I don't know what number to give you guys. One says 31 of 52 and one says 22. Probably 22 in the park package.
Sure.
So there's where you might have some opportunities, but, well, I guess what I'm trying to say is like when it goes to print or whatever, or
Yep.
I would probably just go
Ready
by
to
and,
post, yeah.
I would just maybe take those out if
Okay.
we're not thinking about adding it. Or you could say, yeah, I just think it's easier to just take them out.
Okay.
What do you guys think though?
As far, yeah.
I can't think of, I always think of what's the law of unintended consequences? We do this for one reason, does it cause a problem with anything else? And I can't think of it by it being excluded where it would cause any issue.
Yeah, I can't either.
Yeah.
Because I just think some of those areas we're probably not gonna do a whole lot with, right? Some of those smaller.
Right.
So,
In the whole hierarchy of needs,
yeah, there's not.
it falls pretty low.
That's what I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I can do that.
So, and I have a question, and now that we're naming pages, I'll
Yep.
hopefully try to get to that. But Berkmos, we identify some benches and things like that. We don't refer to the burial mounds in any of the language.
I saw that too.
Okay.
And I also, I was up there not too long ago, and maybe that jumps down to future agenda items. I don't know, historically, does Hudson stay away from claiming or teaching, or I'll even say bragging about them being there? I know it's not a feature like a bench or whatever, but it's pretty unique. But other than just people talking about it, I've never heard the city formally represent them. And I don't know if that's,
It'd be nice to have an educational marker
yeah,
up there that is explaining what the bumps are
yeah.
and why they're there.
We did make some, some placards for the Yellowstone Trail. I believe it was for that event. that Buck was involved with. I think you were here then, but, you know, so they have done tours, and I believe the trolley does tours up there too.
Okay.
You know, so I mean, it's kind of one of their stops
Yeah.
on the historic Hudson tour, so.
Like when you get to a wayside on the highway, if there's a historical marker, they'll have, you know,
Yeah.
a placard there that explains why it's a historical marker and what it is that you're looking at. And you're right, we don't tell that to the general public, that,
Okay.
I think it's important to,
Yeah.
to acknowledge though.
Yeah.
And I noticed that too when I read through, I thought there should be some kind of line about the Native American burial ground.
you want the wading pool and the drinking fountain back?
Up there?
Yeah,
No.
okay.
Well, you know, maybe a school group could take it on too, you know, for an educational.
I'll add some, I'm sure we have many documents that we can pull language from as far as how they came to be and their, historical significance to the area. We can include it on that. Yep.
And there's several different times in history that they've tested them and stuff that
Okay.
I'm sure the city has.
Yep.
So do we have information about when each of the parks were established? Is that something that we might want to plug in here too? When
I've got
the
some.
various parks?
We have information for some, not all.
Okay, no, it was just a thought, if we want to build it out a little bit, when we established them. And with the new space that you mentioned from last night, how many acres is that?
2.5.
2.5? And so then, how will that be classified, or is that a discussion we'll have about the,
Yeah.
okay,
How we want to classify that. Yep.
thank you.
Whether it's a neighborhood park or a community park, you know, what designation it receives, and yep, we'll have those conversations coming forward in the future.
You know, we didn't get a voice in the land planning part of the old dog track site, right? And where I'm going with this is there's, on the south side, there's that big water retention pond. I look at that and go, boy, with all the housing and the people that are gonna be around there, it would have been nice to not take the leftover piece of ground that we got, but to put walking trails or benches around that, instead of it being a mosquito growing ground, make it a live pond. You know,
Right now.
throw some bullheads and sunnies
Yeah.
and sucker minnows in there, and the rest of the bugs come on their own. And today's solar aerators are nothing in cost for the winter to keep them from, you know, just like the old days where you had to figure out how you're gonna get electricity to the pump and keep
Yeah.
it from freezing out.
Right?
But just rather than that big nothing, other than a retention pond, it could have been nice for you know, for people coming out of their lunch at the factory going out, or people from the
Yeah.
neighborhood going out and having a walking trail around it, and benches and picnic tables, and rather than,
Well, maybe they'll take it under their wing and do that.
yeah, but I'm just saying, in situations like that, I think we should look at that more.
Okay.
You know, the same with up at Atwood. You know, sorry. The same happened, you know, with that. They're just big retention ponds for if it floods, and a place to raise mosquitoes.
Right.
Well, it could be a neat place for other activities than just being that people would use that space and find it additive to their quality of life. You know, to be able to come out of the apartment building and go back, but, you know, have a nice trail around the pond, and, you know, grandkids are there, send them out to play. You can, you know, all those kinds of things that now you worry about them going down by the pond, and, you know, because you can't see them through the cattails. You know, I mean, just a way of looking at those kinds of spaces
Yeah.
differently in our town. And the other one that, in that same kind of vein, is how we can hook the schools in more. You know, that like the NSP property that we're gonna be having north of the horse bridge
St.
going
Clair
up
Street?
to the little dam there. To, have them do the biotic indexing on it. And to, involve the kids in our parks. Pam's talked about a lot of that over the years, about how do we get more kids and more other interests other than sports activities in our parks. Because we have some pretty unique properties that could lend themselves to other types of things. I don't know how we do that. That's a smarter person than me, but I think it's something that would be, really beneficial to our parks. And if we could develop a relationship with Mr. D is no longer, who was at St. Pat's. He used to have all his 8th graders do a big biotic indexing thing on the willow, on the apple, on the kinney. Those kinds of activities, and then to be able to follow through with them. I think the more we can turn our kids onto nature and those kinds of things, the better our parks. It's just another way of looking at our parks rather than the other kind of activities is what I'm getting at.
Yeah. Okay.
Do it. And then the only other one I'd throw into that is the point on Prospect up here is hollow, where the old cistern water tower for the city was. We had in our plan before developing that as a wedding site, as a what have you, a building structure on that, or using it in some way. Yeah, but that was something to
Okay.
have in our uses up there.
Okay.
I gave you the photos on that.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Beautiful brickwork. Oh, God.
Okay.
But now to go in there, you have to have an ambulance standing by. You have to have a big air exchange system come in that can pump the air through. It has to be tested first,
Yeah.
make sure there's nothing mold or something like that. And then the air exchange system put on before somebody can go in. Where last time I remember, we just went down.
Yeah, it just sounds like a lot of, it sounds like a lot of liability to the city, or I would have concerns over just how does that actually play out?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It sounds interesting, but I just don't know if, again, you're talking about the hierarchy of needs, sort of. I don't know if that would be a big one.
Well, it just puts it in there so that if it ever becomes something,
Right,
possibility, it's there.
right.
And that has been there in other plans.
Okay. I'll add it back in.
Right, Pam? We had looked at that quite a bit.
We did look at that.
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
What did you guys conclude when you looked at it previously? What did you,
No money.
oh,
No money and too many other things, but
yeah,
if in conjunction with the chamber or something like that, it might make sense partnering with some other group, something, not a commercial venture, but another civic group of some kind that it was something that
okay.
could be worked through.
Anything else?
Oh, it looks great.
Yeah,
Thank you for all the work that went into it, the new photos and the maps.
Yeah.
It's very nice. So thank you to everyone who was involved with putting it together. It looks great.
Mm-hmm,
It does.
I think it's great.
Yep.
It's,
So Mike, do you want a motion to
Accept it.
approve?
Yeah, with the noted changes.
Right.
Yep.
I would make the motion to approve with the noted changes.
I'll second.
Mike seconded. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. So planning's working on their 10-year plan. This will be forwarded and when it's completed to go along with that, to then be approved by planning and then forwarded to the city for adoption.
Okay.
And I would think planning is probably another month to maybe even 2 months out on that side of everything for the city.
Yeah, I'll make the changes and then it will be forwarded on to council for final approval, but I'll probably talk to Mike Johnson and do it at the same time that they talk about the comp plan. So you do kind of both of them together because they kind of, there is Green space, I'm trying to think in the comp plan, parks, green space, and open space chapter. And this would kind of be incorporated into that. It would be referenced in that document.
Sounds good.
So, perfect, thank you.
Yeah. Project updates.
Yeah, so I got a list of them here, and we can add any at the end. So first and foremost, the Lakefront Park storm damage. I'm sure you're all aware of the bathhouse and what happened to that structure. You know, I was kind of looking back through the photos in the park plan, and there's a nice photo of the bathhouse and what it, you know, it's like. It's funny how you never really looked at the roof, and now that it's gone, it's like, what did that even look like, you know? So I just had, it's funny because the way that the water line was ran in that structure, the water line that connected the two outside pieces actually ran up in that roof portion. So when it was taken off, we had water just flowing out, and it's a 2-inch line. So we had to turn the water off. Obviously, we had to close down the restrooms, and we have some portable toilets out there right now. I actually just had Hurlburt Plumbing there today, a plumbing company, local plumbing company, come and make that connection again so that we're able to at least winterize it. It's likely not going to open up for the remainder of the season just because of some of the structural damage. The I-beam is kind of teetering and so on and so forth. So we've been advised by our insurance company to keep them closed and keep them gated off. So if you go down there, you see that there's a chain link fence around it. The intent for repair of that structure, it's going to be obviously covered by the city's insurance. Market and Johnson, who helped do the City Hall remodel project, is kind of taking the lead on the repair work for the library, and the bathhouse would be included in that. It has to be bid out just like any other city project because it's over a certain amount, so on and so forth. So it's probably going to be, I was talking to them today, rafters, if you order them today, you don't get them until December. So it's about 2 months out for rafters. So I wouldn't look at having it repaired until, April, May, June, kind of in those months, just to kind of give you a timeline on that. So that's the first one. Obviously, we'll keep the portable toilets up there. We usually, winterize that facility, the second, third, that one's kind of one of the last ones. Late October is when we kind of winterize that facility, so we're a month ahead of schedule, but we do have the portable toilets out there for people to use in the meantime. Second thing on the list, does anybody have any questions about Lakefront Park? Other storm damage that happened down there. Obviously, we have some shingle damage that happened to the band shell. We lost dozens of trees around the band shell, around the workout area. Trying to think of what else. We lost the circular bench, which was along the trail. Yep. Three or four light poles. Obviously, the railing on the south side of the dike road was hit by a couple trees. That's off the top of my head. That's kind of what I can think of.
Where did the circular bench end up?
So the woman who originally purchased it had reached out to the firm that installed it, and they actually took it away to repair it.
Oh. Okay.
And so that's where it's at right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they took it away and they'll repair it and put it back in the spring. So.
But was it blown up completely across the park, or where did?
No, big tree fell on it, crunched it.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So that's what happened there. Obviously, the insurance company covers physical property. They don't cover trees. Okay. So we're looking at, the railing, the band shell, the bathhouse, the light poles, any benches that were damaged. As far as physical replacement of trees, that would have to come out of our operating budget. So, over the next couple of years, we have a lot of trees to replace. Obviously, kind of have to pick and choose, which parks get
Great memorials.
first. And
Right.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
truly. I mean,
so that'll be perfect. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Storm sale, 50% off.
Yeah. So that's kind of like I said, the timeline, just in a kind of summary of the damage that happened down there. So
Like, is the bathhouse, is the building itself fine? Was it just the roof?
Yeah.
Or is the rest of the
the rest
the
of
doors and the walls and all that?
Yep. No, it was just the roof that was damaged. So the outside structures, the north restroom and the south restroom are in good shape and salvageable. It's just the roof and the I-beams that were attached. There's actually, I don't know how far in detail. The roof was attached to I-beams, and the I-beams were set down in pockets.
Okay.
The wind lifted the roof along with the I-beam out of this pocket, and the I-beam's about 2 feet high. Lifted it up and out of the pocket and kind of just has it resting on the sidewall right now. And like I said, the roof, if you go down there and look where it ended up, there's like 3 or 4, telephone poles and street lights in the way. So it went up and over all of the utility lines and basically was a flying saucer and just right smack dab into the library. It didn't tumble.
Okay.
It flew.
Oh, wow.
It flew high.
Wow.
So yeah, it's quite impressive what happened.
Wow.
So
I was amazed.
yeah. So yeah, it's being worked on to be put back. So we're gonna definitely sturdy it up a little bit. We've already talked to a couple of the original architects that built it. Reached out to them. Obviously, we're gonna beef up the supporting structure and how it's attached. So hopefully it doesn't happen again.
Yeah. Do you know how long it takes for those insurance claims to come through? Is it going to be months or what do you think?
Oh, it's quick. So actually, as we start to repair some of the items, as soon as we get the invoice, we're able to submit them to our insurance company and they'll cut a check back to us for said invoice. So we've already ordered some garbage can lids, some of the the poles, the decorative lighting poles.
Okay.
As soon as we get the invoice, send it off and they cut us a check. So it's actually a pretty quick process.
Okay. Great.
Yep. Now getting the material here is another story. That's,
Yeah.
you order the lights and it takes a while, but
Yeah.
yep. Number B, St. Croix River paddle sports access. So if you take a walk along Lakefront Trail, Gary Zappa, the company that we hired, has graded out the rowboat access off of St. Croix and they're waiting for pavement. They actually did the Orange Street canoe kayak stormwater kind of improvement there as well. They got that poured in concrete. Now they're just kind of waiting for Monarch to come and pave it. So those 2 projects will be finished up here within the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Great.
But yeah, it's a really neat addition, and hopefully, like I said, people will continue to use that area and it'd be more safer for them to get down to the river and have river access. Number C, winterizing park schedule. Kind of like I said before, we're going to begin to winterize some of our lesser used facilities beginning probably within 2 weeks. It's kind of the time of year where, like I said, we start to shut everything down. It's about a 2 to 3 week process by the time we get all the irrigation blown out, all the restrooms closed and cleaned, so on and so forth. So that's coming up on the pipeline. And then finally, Chris Koss from the YMCA came to Common Council last night and gave an update on the Locket program, if you were able to see that. So it's live, and they've been getting great feedback from the people that have done it, saying how beautiful Hudson is and how beautiful Lakefront Park is, so on and so forth. So that is live, and so we're going to promote it on our website to get people out in our parks just enjoying it. So I'm looking forward to doing it with my family sometime soon before the winter comes. And then one other item that I don't have listed on here that I want to include is last night the Common Council moved forward with approving the grant funding for both the boat launch reconstruction and the boardwalk transient docking system. So now the next step in the process is to prepare the plans and specs and go out for bids. And then once the bids come back in, we'll make a decision whether or not to move forward with the projects if we have enough money, so on and so forth. So it's a combination of grant funding, TID funding, possibly some ARPA funding, and possibly some bonding. So there's some different pots to cover the cost of both improvements. So it's just a matter of what the bids come back at for those 2 developments. So those are moving along.
Are those
Nice to
two
have copies of the
separate?
plans.
I'm sorry, are those 2 separate, the boat launch and then the walkway?
Yeah.
I'm guessing the walkway is gonna be more expensive. Well, I guess I don't know the answer to that, but can one go and the other one not, based on what comes in?
Yes,
that what you're-
yep, yep. One may go, both may go, none may go. It's all on the table, so it's up to the council how they want to proceed. But each, the projects are specialized, right? One's kind of out of the water, one's in the water, so they will be bid separate as separate
Okay.
projects. Yep.
Be nice to get copies of the plan though, if we could see it.
Of the boat launch?
Yeah.
Have you seen them?
We haven't gotten it, have you?
I thought we approved them a long time ago.
I think we've seen them.
I haven't seen it final.
Okay, yeah,
It'd be nice to be able to.
I'll forward them
just
along.
look at it and see if there's anything that comes to mind.
Yep, I'll forward them along.
Yeah.
Yep. That's all I have.
I have a question, just general nature. We've got the nice boards up now at Burton for the hockey rink.
Yep.
Are we gonna put a white surface of some kind down there on the ground before we flood it then?
I'm getting a price for a liner. And so the person that built it for us said he can get the liner at cost, which will help with flooding this year. So it's just a matter of him reaching back out to me with that
Good.
price. So he says it's less than $1,000. So I'm gonna review our budget to make sure that we have enough money, but yeah, that's the intent.
Good.
Yep.
Cause sure looks nice. It is a nice job.
Looks
Yeah,
great,
turned out good.
yeah.
Yeah, I hear nice compliments on it.
Good, good.
Everybody looks at the quality, you know, and is concerned about how it's done and I haven't heard any,
Yeah, it turned out
like
good.
somebody tried to do something, cut a quarter or anything.
So in the last item that I have under communications and items for future agenda, I know Paul at the last meeting, you wanted an update on the ARPA funding, and I'm sure you heard it from Aaron last night. Obviously, they haven't finalized what those funds can be used for. We're still kind of waiting on direction. We haven't even received the funds yet, so to be continued, to put it shortly.
Okay.
And before we adjourn, I wanted to just publicly thank you for all the work after that storm, because I know I was up at sunrise and I wanted to check it out. And here's Mike walking downtown doing all kinds of stuff already the morning of on Friday. So thank you for all that work, and your staff too. It was
Yeah.
amazing. So
Appreciate it, thank you. Yeah, they worked really hard.
Oh, they did.
Yep. On that day alone, I had 95 phone conversations and 250 emails.
oh my
I can believe
goodness.
it.
Yep, those ringing all day long.
Goodness.
And you were wrong on all of them and,
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, no, I appreciate that, thank you.
yeah. I think in general, the parks have looked really good this summer. You know, they were well taken care of.
Yep. And well used.
Yeah.
Yep, concert series back again, so a lot of people enjoying Lakefront Park, so it was a good summer.
And we didn't have much vandalism this summer from the trolls, did we?
They've started recently, but yes, it has been less than years past. Yeah.
You know, Prospect Pavilion
Yeah.
and Bathhouse are the two that take it the worst, but,
Yep.
you know. So,
Good, thank you.
somebody make a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
I-
Aye.
Aye. Perfect.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.